Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video, so I'm going to talk about the video game industry, and we're going to talk about Ubisoft again because it seems like they might be for sale. It seems like Ubisoft might be selling itself to Tencent, and the stock market likes that, right? Their stock has been lower than it's been in like a decade. We're talking around $2 a share. And then, hey guys, look, we might get sold. Boom, we went up a whole buck, right? So we're gonna talk about this rumor that they're gonna get sold. I think it comes to us via Bloomberg, and lots of people talking about it on Twitter. And if they do get sold, I guess the plan is to take the company private, possibly, and lay off about 40% of the staff. Right? It's not looking too good for people that are at Ubisoft, and this might be part of why they pushed Assassin's Creed Shadows back. They're like, well, you know what? We can just let Tencent deal with it. Because I'm sure Tencent is going to, be all about the wokeness, right? Being a Chinese-based company, they're going to be all about Assassin's Creed Shadows and all that. Yeah, so let's talk about this. This is really interesting, but not surprising. This company is on fire. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, rants, guys. Go out to clownfish-.com and support the channel. We're trying to build up our presence outside of YouTube because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen with YouTube. There were a bunch of channels that got suspended wrongfully like 2 days ago because YouTube had a quote-unquote glitch. And a whole bunch of people lost their channels, lost monetization because of a quote-unquote glitch. And that concerns me highly, because I mean, they could literally just snap YouTube away tomorrow or snap your channel away tomorrow. And that's it. So yeah, check out clownfish-.com, trying to build up a mailing list and build up a presence outside of the YouTube ecosystem here. So the original rumor, yeah, I think it came from Bloomberg. Tencent and is a Guillemot family said to consider buyout of Ubisoft. Deliberations come after fall in developers' share price. Tencent and the family hold a minority stake in the French firm. So Tencent Holdings and the founding family are considering options, including a potential buyout of the French video game developer after it lost more than half its market value this year. Again, Star Wars Outlaws, massive failure for this company. And a lot of people are boycotting Ubisoft because of all the quote-unquote wokeness, right? All the DEI-infused fever dream bullshit. And we're going to talk about that. There are some tweets out there that show exactly where this company is at. And this is a company, remember, they want to go on strike too. I think I covered that a couple of days ago. They're going to go on strike. I'm like, you're going to go on strike when your company is going to get sold. That's fantastic, because they're looking at potentially getting rid of 35, 40% of their staff. So good luck with that. I'm just saying, good luck with that. The Chinese tech company, and is it the Guillemot Brothers Limited, have been speaking with advisors to help explore ways to stabilize Ubisoft and bolster its value, the people said. And they asked not to be identified discussing a private matter. Whoopsie doopsie. I think they're telling people to run, right? Run far away, because you're probably going to lose your job. There's a pretty good chance you're going to lose your job. One of the possibilities being discussed would involve teaming up to take the company private. According to the people, Ubisoft shares rose as much as 33% in Paris on Friday following the Bloomberg News report, the steepest gain since the company's 1996 initial public offering. Shares of Ubisoft have fallen about 40% this year, giving the company a market cap of about $2 billion. Tencent owned 9.2% of Ubisoft's net voting rights at the end of April, and the founding family had 20%. Some minority shareholders, including AJ Investments, have been pushing for either a take private or a sale of Ubisoft to a strategic investor amid the stock price plunge. Again, this is a company that just a couple of years ago, its stock was like $20, $25 a share, and now it's like $2. Has no value. This company is basically worthless. Ubisoft has always been one of the big players in AAA gaming, and AAA gaming is imploding, and they did this to themselves. All these studios, they did this to themselves. They chased the DEI train. They hopped on board the DEI train, and they went careening off a cliff, like Back to the Future Part 3. Yeah. And that's what happened. They all jumped on at the same time. These games take years to develop, and now that they're all coming out and most of them are failing catastrophically, maybe we need to change course. Maybe we need to change course. I said considerations are at an early stage and there's no certainty they will lead to a transaction. They have to do something. Tencent and the family are considering other alternatives, according to the People. Spokespeople for Ubisoft and the founding family declined to comment. A representative for Tencent couldn't immediately comment during a holiday week in China. They take a lot of holidays over there. They do. They're down for New Year's for like 2 weeks, I think, in January. Last month, shares fell to their lowest in more than a decade after the company cut its outlook on weaker than expected sales and the delay on the hotly anticipated Assassin's Creed Shadows title. No, hotly anticipated by YouTubers who can't wait to rip this thing to shreds, right? So I did a video on that yesterday talking about that. You can check it out. There's some debate as to how much tinkering they're going to do to the game, but it's been pushed back to February. I do not believe it's going to come out in February. I mean, it could, but I think the changes are going to be a lot more substantial. People were thinking they're going to take Yasuke out, the Black Samurai. I do not believe that's possible, but it is possible because they had another protagonist planned, a Japanese male, I believe. It's possible that they add that character to the mix to appease the Japanese, basically, because they're like, hey, where's the Japanese male samurai? That's literally feudal Japan, right? Where's the Japanese male samurai? So the video game firm has, over the past couple of years, struggled to recover from a pandemic-era production crunch that resulted in delays in the release of new games and canceled titles. Why do they dance around the issue? They keep dancing around the issue. Yes, that's part of it. But, it's funny. There are indie developers and Chinese developers, too. Black Myth Wukong. They're companies that put games out during the pandemic and after the pandemic that cost a fraction of what Ubisoft games cost, and they did very, very well. Gamers will buy games, but they're not going to buy your games. Why aren't they buying your games? Because of the ham-fisted politics and predatory monetization strategies. Oh, yeah, it's interesting. Yesterday, gotta give a hat tip to Grums here. This is Ubisoft's monetization director, Stevie Chazard. I don't know. It's French. Monetization director at Ubisoft. He said, "You rarely do not go after him." By the way, I'm going to be very clear. It's just this is typical of the thought process at Ubisoft. This is why they're losing money. This is why they're not making money. I rarely post on social media, but today I am sad, ashamed and sad. The gaming industry is rough at the moment. We all know it. But seeing how gamers, in quotes, gamers, react on social media, wishing ill fate to companies and people alike is sad, and not only towards Ubisoft. Even though it's always the vocal minority that express themselves on social media, I was hurt and ashamed to be part of this community. I'm going to put a pin in that. Just like the video yesterday I did with Geeky. It's the vocal minority maybe on social media, but the majority, the silent majority who are not buying your games, right? They are the super majority. Again, if it were just a vocal minority of people complaining on the internet, your sales would be fine. It's the silent super majority that are running Ubisoft into the ground. They're not buying your products. Right? They're fed up too. They're just not telling you to your face. They're just walking away. They're ghosting you. The silent supermajority of customers are ghosting you. That's what's going on. They're not announcing their departure. They're just leaving, right? They're not making YouTube videos about it. They're just leaving. They're just not buying your stuff. So quit pretending. These companies need to quit pretending it's just a vocal minority. Back to his post, he said, "What's even more revolting is coming on LinkedIn and seeing the same comments from people within the industry." Well, because they're probably people that've been there for decades. They're like, "Yeah, we lost our way. This is why we're in the shape that we're in. This is why we're contemplating selling Ubisoft to the Chinese, to Tencent, because this company is on fire." And it shouldn't be that way. Ubisoft is huge. It should not come to this, but this is where we're at. On top of exposing yourself as a clearly non-decent human being, You are affecting thousands of employees that are already impacted by all the hate despite doing their best to deliver incredible experiences. God, this guy, how old is this guy? He rationalizes things like a child. Like, seriously, this is a very childish. You shouldn't say mean things because it makes people sad. It makes people sad. It makes me sad. Don't say mean things even if they're true. It makes me sad. I don't want to be sad. How can you wish a company to fail simply because they do not cater to you or that product does not please you is beyond me. You're not catering to the super majority, the silent super majority. Movies, comics, video games, all of entertainment. People are walking away, right? Again, if it were a vocal minority of people that were complaining like, oh, there's too many gay people and whatever, I don't like black people in my games. If it was just that, they would be quickly drowned out by sales, by phenomenal sales. And that's not happening. The silent supermajority is putting your business out of business because they're ghosting you. They're walking away from your products. We're in the same boat. Please, please, please stop spreading hate. We should all uplift each other instead of bringing each other down. Stevie, this is a business. This isn't kindergarten, okay? I'm sorry. This is the way it works. I mean, this is a money guy. This is a money guy. He doesn't understand basic economics. If nobody buys your stuff, there's no money to pay people. And the people who have actually been in the industry for a while probably want the industry to continue. And they're like, yes, we can pinpoint the problem exactly. Where do we go off the rails here? This comes from Grums again. Ubisoft is a lost cause. Let's see, is it Endymion? I haven't watched him. I think he's on YouTube too. This is their diversity inclusion spiel on LinkedIn. They spend a lot of time talking about it. They got they're promoting development and empowerment by women and allies and women and non-binary in Paris and women times data in France. Why am I not here? Like, look, there's no problem with hiring women in the video game industries. Roberta Williams would like to have a word, right? I mean, there have always been women in gaming. But the problem is you're focusing on the DEI shit and you're not focusing on making it go, the business, right? If there's no money to hire women and non-binary people, is there? Right? Like, how fucking hard is this? This is a multi-billion-dollar company. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? You chased off the customers. They always do this. You chased off the customers, and then you double down on more practices that chase off customers, not beyond the DEI stuff. Like I said, just their pricing structure. Like, yeah, we're going to basically rent you your video games. And they don't want you to own anything. Remember, they don't want you to own anything. We're going to rent you your video games. We're going to start at $70 and they go up to $120 a month, or you can rent your video games for $18 a month or some bullshit like that. And people are like, no, we're not doing that. And the games ship and they're buggy as hell. I mean, there are indie developers. There are studios out there with like a handful of people putting games out there more polished than Ubisoft. And they're not trying to preach politics at people. And they're not trying to make you feel bad if you don't buy a product. Like, where the fuck did this mindset come from? Every one of these entertainment industries. Like, they're hiring people right out of college and they still think they're in college. You know, and they get a whole bunch of Stevies working for them. And it's like, no, this is not how business works. This is very, very basic. You have the luxury of, you know, giving charity to people, I guess, if your company is doing very well. If your company is doing very well and you want to, you know, spend some money to train some people that aren't up to speed, that aren't qualified or whatever, and you want to work with them and workshop them or whatever the hell, you can do that. That's a luxury item. You can do that later. But right now, you got to keep the fucking lights on. They can't even keep the lights on. They have to sell themselves. And I think all this stuff is going to end. Several private equity firms, including Blackstone, were studying potential bids for Ubisoft in 2022. Is that why they went all in on the DEI stuff? because of Blackstone. Amid a flurry of large deals in the video game industry, Bloomberg News reported at the time later that year, the founding family partnered with Tencent, which bought 49.9% of the brothers' holding company. The deal was seen by analysts as a way of keeping Sears at bay. So this company has been living on borrowed time. It really is. They're going to be sold for sure. I think there's no way they can stay in business. Not after Star Wars Outlaws, especially because Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows, they're supposed to carry them through the holidays. And Star Wars Outlaws was a failure. It was. And Assassin's Creed Shadows has been punted to next year. And I think their brand has taken such a ridiculous hit at this point that gamers don't trust them. And again, it goes beyond the DEI. It's the business practices too, the quality of the product. Hell, they were putting ads. Weren't they putting ads in their games like a year or two ago? Like on the pause screen or something? They were putting ads on their games. And then they're also making comments about you like renting your games, leasing your games for life. It's like, fuck this. Nobody wants this shit. So good luck with that. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.